I've got a chance to see some pretty amazing sports moments, as have all of us.
That's right.
And they all had one thing in common. The man describing those historic, iconic moments was the same voice over it could have 57 years, something like that. Mm-hmm. The legendary Verne Lundquist. Joe, hit it.
On the way. No, returned by Chris Davis. Davis goes left. Davis gets a block. Davis has another block. Chris Davis. No flags. Touchdown. Auburn. An answered prayer. Four-man Alabama rush. Got him. No, they didn't. Oh, my gracious.
Yep.
How about that?
Can't teach that, can you? And you can't defend that.
Well, here it comes. Oh, my goodness. Oh, wow! In your life, have you seen anything like that?
Those things still give me chills listening to him now.
Mm.
And on the Advantage Roofing and Solar Hotline from his home in Steamboat Springs, Colorado, we have the legendary Verne Lundquist. Mr. Lundquist, how are you? Thank you so much for coming on with us. And what are you doing now that you've completely hung up the microphone?
Well, for example, this evening, I'm emceeing a Boys and Girls Club fundraising event. My wife and I are enjoying retirement, though. We're keeping busy, and I don't want to make you guys envious, but our high today was 71 degrees.
I think I'm going to hang up now.
Yeah.
It's 96, and it's a heat index of 105 down here. I know why you left Texas.
Yeah. Well, we moved here 40 years ago.
Wow.
From Dallas. I was working at Channel 8 in Dallas, and I had gone to CBS, went in 82, and I had learned to ski here, 1971, and then came back in the summer of 75 to play in a golf event, and it was like it is today, 70 degrees, and I thought if I can ever pull this off, I'd love to move up here. Nancy and I met in Dallas in 80, and we got married in 82. And in 1984, having been hired full-time by CBS, they didn't care where you lived as long as you could get to where you had to be.
There you go.
And so we took a chance and moved up here, and it's home now. It really is home.
Well, I'm happy for you. I've got to tell you, been in this business for over 40 years. But I moved here from South Louisiana back in 1977, and we didn't have sportscasters like you in South Louisiana. I just want you to know that. So when I was watching, I was just in college at the time, and I was watching you on Channel 8 and listening to you on the Cowboys games and thought I had died and gone to heaven. And so I just want to tell you personally, I don't want to sound like a 66-year-old fanboy here, but yeah, I kind of am, because I have had a very mediocre broadcasting career, but if there was anything good that came from it, it was because of you and Brad Sham, because whatever good I had in me, I stole it from you. So thank you.
Oh, gosh. Well, Brad and I are still very, very close. We started working together initially in 1976. He was the co-pilot. I was the pilot aboard the Cowboy Radio Network. And then when I went to the full-time of the network in '83, Brad moved over, and it's not for nothing that the radio broadcast booth at Texas Stadium. Listen to me.
Both.
At Jerry World is named for Brad. I mean, he's just an exemplary broadcaster, and he remains a dear, dear friend of mine.
Well, he's a wonderful guy, too. And, again, you guys are the gold standard. I just wanted you to know that, and you know that already, I think. But we just listened to some iconic moments. And, did you ever, in any of all these experiences where you had a chance to call some of these incredible, memorable moments in all these different sports, did you ever think, how does this keep happening to me?
I did, yeah. Because, if you're a play-by-play, even if you're the analyst, but the play-by-play guys get exposed to a multitude of sports. And you go to an event hoping that something memorable might break out. And then you pray that you're verbally adequate to the moment. And for the most part, I think I've met that challenge. Just as an example, the Tiger Woods call, the famous chip in 2005. I think I was then 65 years old. If I'd been 35, I would have jumped all over that thing. But I think I've learned over the years to be measured, to be disciplined, to react what's going to happen in front of you. Don't plan it. You can't anticipate anything. Ours is a reactive craft, and you've got to. I've been asked before, do you plan anything? No, you can't. You've just got to react to what's going on in front of you. And in my case, thank heaven, I've been up to that task more often than not.
Well, obviously, because I could have played an hour and a half worth of cuts and still not even scratched the surface today. But this is the great Verne Lundquist, retired from sportscasting now after a lengthy career, long time with CBS, obviously, also with Channel 8 for many, many years. And I know you still get remembered for Bowling for Dollars even today, don't you?
Oh, thank you, Verne. Thank you for bringing that up. It's the program that will not go away. And the funny thing, it was on the air for 2 years, in 75 and 76. And I used to be embarrassed, but there's a long story about how I got involved in it. And my boss said, "You're going to do this?" And I said, "No, I'm not a game show host." and he said, "Yeah, read your contract."
Uh-oh.
And I thought, okay, you win. And I initially, because I thought of it as a game show, Monday through Friday, 6:30 to 7, 6 contestants, and I was because I thought I had a little higher level of view of myself than as Wink Martindale as a game show host. And now I'm dating myself there.
No, you're not. Not to me, you're not.
Okay. It's good to talk to you youngsters.
Yes, thank you.
but after a while, I began to realize that people love that program. They love the audience participation. They love the fact that the contestants were able to say hello to people at home, and I embraced it, and I'm very proud. But it's so funny. My wife and I just came back from we hosted an Atlantic Coast Conference alumni cruise in Alaska for a week, and we're on the show, and I do a Q and I do a couple. I mean, we're on the cruise, and I do a couple of presentations, and then a Q&A, and I'll be darned, in the middle of leaving Sitka, Alaska last week, some guy said, "Tell us about your role on the Bowling for Dollars." I can't get away from it.
Well, I'm sorry I brought it up.
I'm kind of proud of that now. I really am.
Well, it's great, and it also gives you great stories, too, so that's always helpful as well. One of the things that always amazed me was your level of excellence, regardless of what the sport was, whether it was football, basketball, golf, Olympic sports like the Harding-Kerrigan thing with the figure skating, and either your level of preparation had to be off the charts, or did you just have a certain approach that you used regardless of what the event was?
Well, I'll bring up a name that I revere, and sadly, too many people don't remember him. His name was Frank Gleber.
Yes, sir.
And Frank was my predecessor. He was a mentor. He was a very, very, very close friend. He was a CBS television announcer, but he also worked at KRLD Radio in Dallas. And we became friends, and he said to me once, no matter what assignment they give you, do not turn it down. Learn the rules, learn the jargon of whatever sport that sport is, and then watch a lot of videotape and borrow liberally and learn from those who do it best. And I followed that advice from Frank, and that led to my involvement in 20 different sports. Now, some of them were resume fillers early on, doing weightlifting. I did the World Horse Jumping Championship.
There you go.
You just never know what comes along. But along the way, if you follow the rules that Frank gave, we lost Frank at 51 years of age while he was jogging on Dr. Cooper's aerobic track at the Cooper Clinic in Dallas. And it's a tragic loss because he was a marvelous, marvelous broadcaster. I remember watching him once. After he'd given me that advice, he did Alpine Championships at a remote mountain in Sweden, and I thought, Frank can't even walk on concrete, and he's talking about guys skiing. But he was brilliant at it, and as he was with almost everything.
Great stuff. Verne Lundquist on with us on 92.1 The Team. I followed your career. I was a huge fan of your broadcasting with the Cowboys. I knew you did regional college football, watched you all through the NFL and how you trained the color people that you worked with, and you were so influential in the success of people like Terry Bradshaw. And then you got the assignment to become the voice of the SEC. Which was a big deal to me because I grew up in Louisiana, went to a lot of Tigers games at LSU. I covered the SEC in Chattanooga when I was a TV sportscaster there, so I got to go to several Iron Bowls and things like that. So I'm an SEC idiot. I take it in the veins, okay? So when you took it over, I know maybe initially it may have felt like, or I may be putting words in your mouth. Did you feel like it was a demotion, or did you look at it as something that could be really special?
No. I desperately did not want to do it.
Wow.
I didn't want to do it. I had worked, I was with Terry for 4 years total. And then prior to the SEC assignment, that year I was working with Dan Deerdorf. The year before that, I had worked for 4 years with Dan Fouts, and life in the NFL was very comfortable. I was the number 2 guy,
right? And
then my boss, Sean McManus, called me in the spring of 2000, and he said, "It's a long, involved story. Dick Enberg is involved because I'd heard rumors that Dick was unhappy at NBC, and he was thinking about transferring to CBS." And so I called Sean, and I said, "These things wouldn't affect me, would they? I mean, I'm not the number one. Dick's not going to come unless he's the lead dog." And Sean assured me that Dick was high salaried; they couldn't afford him, on and on and on. And then he said, "In the unlikely event that we hired Dick Enberg, how would you feel about going to the SEC?" And I said the appropriate things, hung up the phone, looked at Nancy, and I said, "Honey, pack our bags for Tuscaloosa."
Oh, my.
And it turned out, obviously, I love to repeat the story. My first ever was with Todd Blackledge, my partner, and we had Tennessee at home against Florida.
Wow.
And Florida won on the last second touchdown pass that may or may not have been legit. Anyway, Florida won it 2017, I think. We went off the air, and I looked at Todd and I said, "Are they all like this?" And he said, "Enough of them."
and he was right.
Obviously, enough of them were.
Yeah.
And give credit to CBS because college football then was regarded as a regional sport. And they in 1996, 4 years before I started doing it, Jim Nance was the original SEC guy in '96, and then he gave way to Sean McDonough, and Sean, they had made it. CBS had decided to make a move with Sean and not renew his contract. Happens in our business, and that's why it led to me. But I didn't want to do it, and yet, you heard the Iron Bowl game in 2013, still the greatest football game I have ever seen. but 109-yard return with a missed field goal.
Crazy.
Wow.
Give me a break. and then we did a replay, but ultimately we let the crowd noise go for a minute and a half or so, and then I said, you now keep in mind that Alabama had their field goal protection team on the field.
Yeah.
And so we did the replay. We only did 3 of them. The last one, and Gary Danielson said, well, no wonder they couldn't catch they couldn't catch the guy. All they had on the field were fat guys.
Yeah.
Lineman.
Yeah, exactly.
Unbelievable. Verne Lundquist with us. We're about to wrap it up. I know you've got to go, but I did want to ask you, after having gotten used to the idea and then doing the games from 2000 to 2016 and looking at it, I mean, I consider the reason the SEC is as popular as it is now as much because of your presence in those broadcasts on those great games every Saturday as anything. And so how does it feel to be that associated with a conference to the point that even when they finally did the last SEC game on CBS, they brought you back as part of the broadcast because you're Uncle Verne in the SEC.
Yeah.
And they had to bring you on. And I thought it was highly appropriate and wonderful.
When they invited Nancy and me back to Atlanta for the SEC championship game, and I did. We feigned a handoff. Brad, we taped an opening where I handed the mic off to Brad, and it was emotional to be back there because I made so many friends throughout the SEC. I mean, how lucky am I? I get to call Nick Saban a friend. I get to call Kirby Smart a friend. Beyond just the broadcaster coach relationship, and they are friends. And I know that. I know some purists will say, "Well, that crosses the line." No, it doesn't. Not really. I mean, you're dealing with human beings, and as long as you're objective as a broadcaster, I think that's a line that you can approach and be careful with it. But I mean, we just Gary and I are still close. Brad and I are close. Todd Blackledge and I keep in touch. But it's the people. There's a fellow who works for the University of Georgia named Lauren Smith. He and his wife Myrna have become dear, dear, dear friends of ours, and those kind of things, those relationships, are what matter when it's all said and done.
Mr. Lundquist, I just had one question because you talked about, or Bryan talked about how influential you were in his career. Let me get that word out. But I grew up in L.A., so I was spoiled. I grew up listening to Vin Scully do Dodger games and Chick Hearn do the Lakers games. Who are the broadcasters that you listened to as a young man and that maybe influenced your career?
Well, Vin Scully is the best broadcaster in the history of broadcasting, in my view. And I was lucky enough. I got to know Vin before he died. He made the greatest call I've ever heard in my life. Al Michaels gets a lot of credit, as he should, for Do You Believe in Miracles, the 80 Olympic Games. But Scully, in the World Series with Oakland, when help me out.
Kirk Gibson.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Hey, I'm right there with you, Vern.
Oh, I appreciate. All of a sudden, I had a senior moment.
I need help all the time.
Oh my God! Kirk Gibson comes up as pinch hitter and hits a 2-run shot over the right field fence, and he's pumping his arms as he's going around. And Scully said what he said, it's gone, or whatever it said. And then Vin laid out. He didn't say a word. Gibson goes around second, third, comes across his home plate. Dodgers win. He's in the clubhouse, the dugout, comes back out for a curtain call. Scully hasn't said a word. He goes back in, and only when the the noise began to subside, Scully said, in the year of the improbable, the impossible has occurred.
Brilliant.
I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. But for succinctness, the radio broadcaster on the same game was the wonderful Jack Buck.
Yep.
Yeah.
And when Gibson's ball went over the right field fence, all Jack said was, "I don't believe what my eyes just saw." So you got two of the great broadcasters ever doing that.
They were both tremendous, and they were both completely opposite in style. Just fantastic.
Yep.
Vern, last question, and then I'll let you go. My son's a broadcaster at your old TV station. Sometimes he gets to do a little bit of sports, but he's primarily a news guy. Young kid, 27 years old. What advice would you give to somebody getting into this stupid business now, breaking into the business?
The same advice that Frank Lieber gave me. Don't turn anything down. Learn from it. And that applies to news, too. I mean, whether you're a beat reporter or you're an anchor or you're a weatherman, for heaven's sake, or a sports guy, just don't refuse an opportunity. Learn from it. Make it help you grow, that kind of thing. There are going to be highs and lows. It happens, as you guys know, to all of us. I mean, hey, the reason I went to CBS is because in 1980, ABC said, "We're not going to renew your contract."
Wow. That was
dumb.
that's
an eye-opener. Hello, we're moving in a different direction.
Yeah.
I think the guy obviously issued that cliche.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
A guy named Chuck Howard. Have I forgiven him? Well, yeah, kind of.
Kind of.
It stung for you. It's so funny. I just wrapped this up with it. I resented him. I mean, I detested him for years and years and years. And I couldn't wait until I saw him so I could explode verbally in his face. So help me. I'm in the Los Angeles airport. American Airlines has a big escalator that goes from the departure wing down to baggage claim. And as I was descending on the escalator, I saw a guy he had lime green pants with no shoes and Gucci loafers. And that was de rigueur at the day. And I thought, that can only be one human being. And when I got down within eyesight, it was Chuck Howard. And before I could open my mouth, he said, "Vern, it's so good to see you. Sometimes we make huge mistakes."
Wow.
And I made one with you.
Wow.
Well, that was disarming. I almost wanted to hug him.
Well, he stole the last word from you, though. Wait a minute.
Yeah, he sure did. Yeah, you bet. It all worked out.
It did.
Vern, I cannot tell you how much I appreciate you being willing to do this, your generosity with your time, and thank you for the wonderful moments that you've provided for us our entire lives, watching sports and listening to you describe it. It has just given us great joy all these years, and it was a thrill to have you on the show today. Thank you.
Well, thank you, guys. My boss at Channel 8 was from Tyler.
Really?
Mike Shapiro.
There you go. Okay.
Yep. Yeah.
Wow. Small
Sure
world.
was. Yeah, it is.
Well,
guys, I enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Vern. We appreciate it, and have a great retirement.
Thank you so much.
Yes, sir. Thank you. The great Verne Lundquist. We're going to take a time out. We got to go to a break, and then we'll talk about what we just heard there on 92.1 The Team.